So welcome back. We are still working on the Hemi, and today we're gonna rip out some of these cam bearings. I didn't like how the cam came out, kind of jammed in there a little bit, so I think we got a little bit of wear, a little bit of warping of some sort. So let's just yank these things out anyways and see what we got going. I mean, we got the tool, we got the bearings, so let's just let her ride. Anyways, this here, we got our tool set up, and we are just going to beat the hell out of it, because that's essentially what you do. Just about there. And there we go. All right, so there's our bearing. You can see we got a little bit of wear. It's not enough that you can really catch your finger on it or anything, but it's enough that it's not ideal. So that one gets to go in the heap. And we get to keep working. All right, well, they all seem to have this wear pattern of worn on the bottom and pretty much not really on top. So that's kind of interesting. This end guy does have wear more at the bottom, but at least it has wear all around it. So I'm half wondering if some of these bearings were a tad bit low in spots. Who knows? They probably just mass produce these things, pound them out, and carry on. I don't really have a super easy way to check concentracy, but kind of is what it is. We'll just replace these bearings, hammer the new cam in, and if the cam goes in nicely, it goes in nicely, and then we should be set. And we'll just let the cam clearance itself, I guess. But that's kind of that. That was kind of a few barks of getting PO'd at it, but I guess time to reverse the whole thing and pound bearings in instead of taking them out. All right, so we're back with putting the cam bearings in. Now I believe what you'll see is me removing the bearing and how I took them out, and then we are going to cut out the part where I tried using this cheapo installer, where you plug it in there, expand the thing in the rod, and try to install it. Mainly because whoever designed this, see if you can see, they got that whole chamfered edge. And the downside is, when you put your bearing up in there and get that chamfer right on the edge, you start rolling the edge of your bearing. And in extreme cases, your bearing starts to look like this. Gets all chewed up. Now this one, I beat the ever-living hell out of it just because I was trying different things to see if I could make this thing work. But when it comes down to it, nothing really beats fine-tuned pieces of equipment. So like these guys now, it just barely slides on. This is all square around the edge. So it should press this in much nicer. So that's what we're doing this time. And hopefully we'll have things set up pretty nice. Alright, now I showed this before, but these Cleveite bearings have this gap in the middle that makes it so you can get oil no matter how terrible you install it. But I marked our installer here so we can slide and make sure that the hole in the bearing lines up with the hole. And then we have a reference to go off of that we can actually see as we slide it in the block. So now we feel it engage. We put our spacer guy right in there. And then this next spot, we are going to grab a bearing, slide it onto the shaft, and then mark where the edge of that bearing is on the shaft. This way, when we grab our hammer and hold our plate, we'll have an idea of where installed is. And since we have it, we may as well double check on our little monitor device here. Well, it's fully supported. Maybe just a tiny bit too far, but hey, we're in the hood. Okay, so this is pretty much where we're at and what I've been running into. So, you have your bearing that's supposed to slide on. This guy fits super loose in there. Not a big fan of that. Like if we grab the other bearing, these are for the other journals on the camshaft. Next to nothing. Got just that little bit, but it's not terrible like that first one. So that is super weird. I've got like another company of bearings coming so I can see if they're any better. So that's kind of what I notice. Takes too much effort trying to install it, and it's just a tiny bit too big. All right, so a certain weirdity we find here. I was having troubles getting this number 2 bearing in of this Cleveite brand. I tried it out on the cam, and it was sloppier than I expected it to. So then I ordered up Durabond and a sealed power. Found out that both Durabond and the sealed power have the exact same part numbers. So when you got the part numbers there and part numbers there, these are pretty much made by the exact same company. The Cleveites have slightly different part number, and I just could not get that number 2 in there. Took the one out of here, number 2 went right in. Go figure. So, anyways, we got number 2 in there. We get the last one. Then we can shove a cam in there. What a wonderful business. All right, this one, the dashes go towards the top. And since we don't have the cone of putting it in there correctly, we just hope that this guy just goes in nice and doesn't mess anything up. See how we're doing. Looks pretty good to me. I guess that is the whole reason why a lot of people just pay the machine shop to take care of their cam bearings. But once you have a set that actually fits, I am not super afraid of these things. So we got some tools for next engines. So sometime in the future, we'll tackle another one without thinking twice. And that's pretty much half of what I do. I collect tools to make the next job better. And then at some point in time, I die, and the next generation gets to make the same mistakes. But anyways, I think this is going to be enough for the video for this thing. It's been so much of a hassle with this guy. Almost a month has gone by, and we got a different camera. Alright, well that is finally cam bearings in this thing. We got that taken care of. It's been so long I don't even know where I left the video at, but we got that taken care of so we can move on to something else. And I get to call this a stupid video, stupid parts, stupid everything. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you again later.